Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Question number 66, standing law, name below me. And we go for Minister for Environment and Climate Change, Disaster Management and Meteorology. Can the Minister for Environment, Climate Change, Disaster Management and Meteorology provide a detailed update on what actions the government has taken to implement the recommendations outlined in the National State of Environment Report, particularly those related to logging and environmental protection? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister for Environment. The floor, sir.
Thank you, Speaker, sir. I will be providing the response to the question raised by the Leader for Independent on behalf of the substantive Minister Proper, who is currently out of country on national duty. So the response to the question is we wish to inform the House that the Ministry is implementing key recommendations from the State of Environment Report relating to logging and environmental protection. The Ministry is finalizing the new environmental bill to strengthen approvals, collaboration with the Ministry of Forestry and Research, and introduce stricter penalties for compliance. The Environment and Conservation Division continues to monitor logging activities, address complaints, and enforce environmental management plans and development consent conditions supported by the deployment of officers in provincial centres. We are also working closely with the Solomon Islands Rangers Association and exploring satellite and digital technologies to improve enforcement. In addition, the Protected Areas program is expanding conservation sites under the Protected Areas Act 2010. So while challenges remain in streamlining decision-making and interagency data sharing, the Ministry remains committed to strengthening governance, monitoring, and restoration to safeguard our forests and ecosystems. So that is basically the answer to the question raised by the independent leader. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, for responding to the question on behalf of the Minister of Environment, who is not in country at the moment. Thank you. The comments, Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, sir. If the Minister can outline in summary form, okay, the main recommendations, long or this for the most recent of the two State of the Environment report, where okay, the actions are being taken by him. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, sir. Thank you also to the Leader of the Official Opposition for raising that concern or question. I would say that detailed report below State of Environment here, we have three. One Falahem produced way back in 1993, and then the other one is in 2008, and the last one now, 2019. With all respect, I will take note of one name, our good Leader of Opposition raising, and maybe communicating goal of substantive Minister Proper when he's returned, and to maybe file a proper report for Game Kamlo Parliament for IMI for looking, because it's very important. IMI everyone carrying that same concern. Our environment in need for carefully look at him and address it. So that's the position law. point raised by the good opposition leader. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, that is acceptable. In doing that, I'm very good for addressing each of the logging concessions where Hemi looked at in the State of the Environment report, in the question specific to logging, and what remediation efforts were taken. We're talking about taken and perhaps taking. They're still in the process of responding. Because my impression, Mr. Speaker, is that of course time logging finish, ot move, ot go na. Or living more then shrub grow and some tree grow and also, but ot no go for any damage done to the environment. I've hardly ever heard of any logging company going back to do remediation or ministry taking action to force them to do remediation or what kind of issues. Particularly when water sources are damaged or destroyed and also. So it'd be good to specifically highlight those so we see where we are failing. Meeting him fail on this very important matter. And not to point fingers, but if we see where we're failing, then perhaps we could strengthen our efforts to address these serious issues of environmental degradation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Leader of Opposition. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Chair. The leader has raised very, very important matters. One of the big programs that the ministry is doing now is the environmental bill. It's currently before the relevant authority for finalizing that bill. And this bill has aimed for try and curb him now, but issues here, logging issues and other related issues, in collaboration with the Ministry of Forestry and Research too. So it's a big task going forward, but the ministry is hopeful to advance these programs for purposes of addressing our environmental issues. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Any further comments? Honourable MP for West Arare.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Minister. Me follow up no more statement or question law leader of the opposition. Lo oketa concessions lo looking. The question put by the leader was that assumption no any worker done ministry or oketa looking companies. In your record, Minister, no good record blue him current any concession, any communities in the country that they have already been addressed in terms of the rehabilitation law environment, particularly Okata River, Mangrove and Sea. Me as awesome. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member for West Arare. Honourable Minister.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Thank you also to the member for West Arare for that question. I would say that the ministry's program have ongoing, but detailed activities where the ministry have doing come this time now, we don't have the immediate report plan this time. Like I said earlier on, but we collaborate with the substantive minister proper when he's returned. Our aim is, I'll pursue this, informing him to file a proper report, because it's important. 2019, we got him the last SOE, so it's good that these reports have come to house, so that I'm informing everyone. I'll answer you that way, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, Honourable Members, for the record. Because of the substantive minister is not here, and some of the issues raised are quite substantive in nature, probably would have been more appropriately addressed to the substantive minister. But on record, I think the minister or the ministry can refer to the proceedings of this, and the questions are raised for purposes of further clarification. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Yeah, thank you. But even if substantive minister no stops, sir, ministry officials should be here, I think. Please go to, so that the minister is furnished with appropriate information for Artsam House. So the absence of ministers is no excuse for furnishing the House with wholesome, comprehensive answers. One of the issues highlighted in this report, well, not highlighted in a big way, but I mentioned or reported, the matter of former old logging equipment, or logging go ahead no more, finish, or dump them every old bulldozer, follow more site or no more, or take off now. And you know, we've been timing to deal with the mining bill here, it's still in process, but also when mines department come, lo PAC here, the issue of the environmental bond for side mining here, for remediation is a big issue. Well, logging have non-existent. You mean neglect them straight for all these years. Even right now, logging go no in the environment. That's another issue touched on by the report. So on those two issues, environment remediation bond, logging, and all the equipment without money, losing no more, just go no more as if no anything now. What now, Ministry and doing about law to follow issue? Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, I say thank you to the leader for raising that one. I believe environmental issues, impacts and all this, and of course logging matters. The Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Forestry to follow everyone work together for curbing this one. So what relevant programs are there, how to address and how what addressing now, what are issues relating to logging and environmental issues, I say. So relevant programs, ministries, officials would continue to conducting their mandates, I'd say. But for specific details, for me, surveyor fully detailing the house this morning now, I'll have to consider and take note of those matters and for purpose of this proceeding, when they will probably provide a more detail later.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. I think that point is that, unfortunately, the ministry officials who might be here to respond to assist the minister and also take into account the points that are raised for purpose of the hearing are not here. I think we have to be conscious, for otherwise we'll be raising issues that are not getting anywhere to the right people to get attention of. I'll give you your last bid.
Yeah, so this time absence of ministers is really no excuse for furnishing Parliament with or get the answers here. And really officials should be here, they're not here. Really not good. It's unfair on the supervising minister, but the officials should be here for answer the question through the minister. So with regards to Olketa machine where our logging company Lucy Noman go from here, who's legally liable? So perhaps the Attorney General could help this. Well, not Staka, but Tutrivalanon expressing frustration, what happens with all these old machinery where sit down by what what do we do? And if we can assign legal liability, for enforcing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Leader. I think it's important. Honourable, maybe you want to supplement the questions raised by the MP before any further response is put to the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think meeting him for move this question for another day when Minister come. I mean, since the answers are not by Minister supervising, by him knows how to answer without questions by author this side of the House by asking him, Mr. Speaker. So at the meeting, if possible, your ruling for this question. It means I'm moving for another sitting there when Minister Hemi come. This is a very important question, Mr. Speaker, concerning our logging, concerning our environment.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Indeed, in fact, right at the outset, had we been informed that the Minister is not going to be present to respond to this question, we would have taken the opportunity or the position that the question be deferred to another date when the Minister is available. Notwithstanding that the Minister of Provincial Government and Institutional Strengthening has responded to. But again, we'll check our orders whether a question that has been raised, although the Minister responsible is not here, but has been responded to a certain extent by another Minister, whether it can be brought back and raised again in another meeting. We'll clarify that at the end of this. But with that, of course, and with your indulgence, I will have to say thank you for we dispose of the consideration of this question until it's raised again, if possible, because of the importance of some of the concerns and issues that have been raised in relation to the issue of logging and so on and so forth. One at a time, please. Yeah. Yep, yes, thank you.
Yes, so the same question rule, the standing order, we have the same question rule, which IMI cannot raise in the same question. IMI applied mostly 2 votes, but presumably also 2 questions, or 2 consecutive meetings. And the fact that 1 year is a meeting, that pretty much precludes Leader Below Independent raising this question again for another 2 years. So it is better we exhaust it now, and Supervising Minister, IMI take him on notice some of these issues and can provide written information. It's better we do it that because him ask and finish and him respond finish by hard for it will agree for him take him back more. So let's proceed with it. If any beginning now, him different, maybe clear now, but I'm ask him finish and him respond now. No matter response him no much good, but I him response now. So no problem, so please allow us to.
Okay, thank you, Honourable Leader. In fact, that's why I also in the earlier on I stated that what has been raised here will be captured in the Hansard report, and that can also be used to refer those matters to the ministry responsible. Responding to it on the floor of Parliament is one thing, but responding it to the public concern is quite another matter. You don't need to take it back here to Parliament, but at least you can clarify matters that have been raised here, as long as it's not a matter of order of the court. It's free. You can refer to an existing issue. So I think what I mentioned today was that what has been raised in relation to this question are captured in the Hansard reports, and that can also be used by the minister who's responded to refer to the substantive minister, because the officials are not here to have taken that opportunity to capture it on behalf of the ministry. So the minister responding to this question, the Minister of Provincial Government Institution will refer it and refer the concerns that have been raised that are captured in the report of Hansard for this particular question. So on that note, the issue is the same question. Can it be raised again, or we dispose it of here and take the other path in pursuing responses to that, so that the honourable member concerned need not raise it again at another time. And that's going to be, as you said, we don't know, next year or year after. By the time I think some of the information would have become obsolete, non-applicable, have been fixed and so on. So the issue now is for the ruling whether, as the honourable member who raised the question, that because of the substantive minister is not here, can be raised again, or from what the leader of opposition is saying, because it has been raised, let's dispose of it here and follow the path of referring it to the ministry through proceedings of the House as captured in the Parliament. So I will take that line in order to not to repeat the same question will follow the path that the Minister has responded, and the concerns as raised are going to be captured in Hansard and will refer to the Minister outside of the proceedings of Parliament. Thank you for your understanding. Honourable Leader.
Thank you, sir. So allow me for exhausting.
Oh, you haven't finished.
No, halfway. But I asked the question before for legal liability and enforcement. Logat hunaba movement all machine and also. So perhaps the Honourable Attorney General could assist. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Leader of the Official Opposition, for that question. In terms of clearing out, especially when it comes to like mining, for example, companies are under obligation to ensure that when they leave an area, what they came out, everything blown, what clear them properly, rehabilitate them area, and not inside law licensing leasehold conditions. So that includes that they are obligated to remove it. Now, Tamuputum Kamlo, side law, or side law, and those machines are owned by those companies, and company got an obligation to for must remove them from side law wherever they're living. In terms of enforcement, under Mines Act, for under Mines Act, even though they leave a mining lease, I think obligation not carry on that to leave it even as certainly more than up to 3 years. Might be wrong, but yeah, after mining lease and lapse, you got an obligation for clear them. So once time you go look through for me, him not clear, tell them you still have to remove this. Then if not, law, yeah, you must do that one. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
We know, in terms of logging and mining, that there's no any enforcement law this one. I mean, logging, you drive go down Lobonegenome, you look in every bulldozer, excavator, or sit down Logatorote, land blow people, and also. So it's either they weren't in the regional concession licenses as conditions, or if they were, no any enforcement may happen. And for most of those, this was 3 years, you talk about it, and lapse a long time now. The case blow mining law renal, every machine sit down in the bus and more than 3 years now too. And then company I think not wind up or voluntary wind up sometimes too, so I don't know how you can hold them liable. So, but this is a matter that was raised in the report, one of many, where Hemi point come back normal government say level Hemi no enforcing its own conditions, lawful conditions imposed on these licenses. That's why this question is a really very, very important one, and Parliament must insist that not only answers are provided, but that actions are taken, because you need to talk about the environment where you have survival. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Leader. Any comments from the Honourable Minister?
Thank you, sir. He did not know one name leader him raising. Thank you, sir.
So thank you. The concern raised by the leader, the concern noted. Honourable MP for West Harare.
Yeah. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Minister, for you hearing me. Followed by you, passing call substantive minister. It's very disappointing that Okata public officers blame me no more here. This question law here, any question with him environment and law, Mr. Speaker. Him start come law 1928, yeah. That's when locking started in this country. And by you expecting floor, start a question him stop now because this is our country. And him to talk on behalf of our landowners. And so, Minister, me happy to much that by you report go back law substantive minister. And as leader him say, action we need him. We need action because this is since 1928. Mr. Speaker, question blow me him also. Lo okata bulldozer parts and okata something equipments where locking him living. Okata not take him under responsibility blogata. Minister, by you reporting back law substantive minister, every part here, o kata lo inside lo simwa. Me fal si wheat ya. So kata farmers lo home, o kata lukim hem na hem heavy, ko perke mo kal pulto saya, hem lo lagun. West ari ko ba staka. West ko yu ko hem staka. Small malaita lo pasis hem staka now. Every looking parts hem lo see. Environment ba hem no damaged, but that's the shortcut, short way blow kata. Farmers bring to lo seaweed. It's good seaweed, but hem lo environment more lo see. So me just highlighting that one noma. Time you talk about environment. Time mo kata imino actionim. Locus o kata living mo kata equipment. Then hem ko lo inside lo another environment which is our sea. Make him report him go back lo substantive minister mo. Make him put in plan for time mo kata come back mo lo. So thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. We take and go. Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do thank the leader of the independent group for the original question and the responses given by the supervising Minister for Environment, and of course the important supplementary questions and issues that have been raised by the leader of opposition and the MP for West Harare, and as the Minister supervising has alluded to, we have taken note of these important concerns, issues raised not only with the Ministry of Environment but also with the Ministry of Forestry. So we have taken note of those important concerns, Mr. Speaker. On the supplementary question from the leader of opposition, just in addition to what the Minister supervising has said, of course, the state of the environment is deteriorating, especially in areas where logging and mining activities have taken place over the years. On the supplementary question from the Honourable MP for West Harare, it's important to note that concession records are held by the Ministry of Forest, and the Director of Environment issues development concerns, as we know. It has been generally the observation that logging companies hardly carry out rehabilitation, and this is a matter that needs improvement for us to, as a government. It's not a new matter, as we all know, but as a government now, we will work to ensure that there is improvement in terms of rehabilitation. Of course, much of these logging activities also take place on customary land, and sometimes when the logging is over, you hardly hear about land disputes. Land disputes were common when logging is about to go into those areas, but when logging is finished now, we know in land disputes too. Yeah. So that also affects rehabilitation efforts, Mr. Speaker. In terms of the Environment Act 1998, that does not make provision for environmental bond. I think that point has been made clear earlier. So the current, the new bill has provision for environmental bonds. So that is a huge improvement going forward. So, Mr. Speaker, I have taken note, and the Minister supervising has taken note of all the important concerns that have been raised, and we will respond to those accordingly, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister. I think that summarizes Mr. Honourable MP for his choice.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the responses. Now, that points to, I guess that's the issue raised by the Prime Minister with legislation. So the priorities seem to be, here is that we really need to prioritize in Bilia. If there is weaknesses, that we must really prioritize. And that what priority are we given to the bringing of this new environment bill? That's one question. And the other one, in his brief response to the question Minister the Minister Provincial Government and talk about the protective areas, Mr. Speaker. That's a strategy. I guess how many protective areas around the country? What's the uptake by over the people? What challenges may be facing, and Are we tidying up that as well, a new environmental bill? But there seems to be a very important strategy for declaring more protective areas around the country, both on land and sea, Mr. Speaker.
Noted, Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me thank the Honourable Member for his choice for those important questions and observations. With regards to the environmental bill, that is a priority in addition to the Mines and Mineral Resources bill, which also has implications in terms of our environment. The environmental bill and of course the new forestry bill, these are priority pieces of legislations. I'm sure the Minister of Forestry may wish to enlighten the House on the new forestry bill, where that is. But suffice to say, these are priority pieces of legislation, and this government is keen to table those as soon as it comes through the process from the relevant ministries and to Cabinet and of course to Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister. So, thank you. Honourable MP for Mr. Malaita.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just last supplementary question, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, me just like asking Minister on like now you're looking at logging happening. There are many things that ministry go for follow-up as other colleagues supplementary questions. I mean, just a matter of if ministers are inform House, no matter that, what now ministry doing concerning some of the outcomes of the report in terms of some of the areas that been devastated by the logging. Has any logging company that tell me follow some of this report? So I know some follow company, logging companies, or what continue for addressing some follow issues, or logging issue, but others no manner. So just for if Minister Sai tell them House that if some logging companies cope up with implementing some of the things that concerning environment or logging sector. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Leader, for raising that observation. Foremost, let me say that in any logging operation, there is an agreement where parties are obliged, duties, responsibilities, Bogota have clearly spelled out below that. So all parties are equal player, any logging operation. When it comes to environmental damages, that's where our government machineries are coming to assist. Usually, liabilities, damages on severe have end up in court there. You may run that logging operation causing lots of issues for you. And the only place where disputing parties are settling their issues, court number, where they can claim for damages, environmental damages, both land and sea. So the Ministry of Environment, I think the role of Lohemna is to provide the necessary assessment for aiding parties who wish to claim for damages also. What machineries were stopped here. Obligation was stopped here. It's the law where I'm guiding parties to any operation. So should one of the parties fail for comply or for conducting duties, I'm wrong now. And it's always good for raising goal or appropriate authorities where law has put it, and one of which is the courts. I'll stop there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable MP for East Joseph.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I just want to follow up a question with me. I think the second half of the question is not responded to, and that is regarding protective areas. I think it's a very good strategy. One, you pass in the responsibility to the people themselves for look after the forestry block and sea block. So the question is how many, and the challenges that they be facing semi-arid Minister of the land and sea and a lot of people, and also so they response to a lot of people will be sometimes was they might not want to take participate with that kind of strategy and also so what are the challenges that we're facing, what is needing probably a lot of education or people doing so what understanding this is for your good. Also, so that's where we are leading this question to Mr. Speaker. So that part of the question is not yet been responded to.
Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Honourable colleague, for his choice. Yes, I forgot to respond to the second part of your question in terms of protected areas. There are less than 10 protected areas under the Protected Areas Act of 2010. Most of the protected areas are forestry ones, those relating to forestry, with Anavon as the only marine protected based area. I think in terms of the marine space, the latest is also the Iato protected area in Makira. That's in terms of statistics. But the point he has raised in terms of that awareness to our people, highlighting the importance of marine protected areas, why they need to undertake conservation or preservation activities. I think that's an important point that as a government or as stakeholders, not only government but all communities, provincial governments involved, I know there are provinces who are actively pursuing these sort of arrangements. And these are important, so I take the point that we need to educate, to raise awareness among our population in terms of the importance of marine protected areas or land-based protected areas so that they are aware of why they need to do that in terms of conservation and preservation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Leader.
Thank you, sir. When the Ministry of Environment appeared before Public Accounts, this matter Chairman Hemi raising in terms of capacity law, Director of Environment for Hemi imposing what conditions law development consent. And Maita Director, no capacity extremely limited. And in this budget, this year's, next year's budget by Nilulukulam, in a week's time here, that problem continues. So it is one thing to say, oh, this one bar of priority of government, but it's quite another to make sure Selen Hemlo there, so we're making sure that the director has the capacity to not only set them conditions, but to enforce them, to impose them. This is not a matter we must, we keep kicking down the line. So Chairman is going to be proposing an amendment to the appropriations bill here, which obviously Cabinet must think around it. Law, this particular issue, law capacity, law environment, so that the next, well, they're starting to work on the next state of environment report, but we must look, we're a little bit, we're learning and we're improving in these matters. And very important to us know next report, and this, same or worse go more because there's more degradation. We mustn't accept it as a, the way things ought to be. It's not. It has to be much better. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Leader. Those comments, Honourable MP for East Arare.
Thank you, Speaker. Just in terms of the discussions we've been having here, and I think it's clear that substantive minister is not around, but the question by the leader is so important in terms of what we are seeking to address here as Parliament. And indeed, your point is well taken in terms of what Naubaemi might do him later if this question can come back again. But, it's asking to provide a detailed update here, a detailed update on what actions government has been taking. So the way forward now, we try for, we figure him out here too in terms of what kind of process to get this detailed report that it's been asked here, because so far it's not very detailed. I mean, we're hearing a lot of answers come back, but perhaps it's not really what the independent leader is asking for here as a detailed update for this important report. I also note that in chambers now we have the newly appointed Permanent Secretary. Congratulations to you and your new important position. But at the same time, I also note that the Minister is not here. Just the next steps in terms of what the Minister might be obligated to give to this House. I think that is still a question that is still left outstanding for us. In terms of a specific question, to follow up on that broader point, is how our national state of the environment report informs the global state of environment report that UNEP comes out with as well. Link law there, any link law there, or you being to blame me and separate from that global process? Because that is also state of the environment report that comes out globally almost every other year. So those are important questions in terms of processes. Of course, substantively, but I think processes is also important for UMI. That one more. But part of the process now is how are we going to be dealing with a very important question here going forward that we can follow up outside of these chambers as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable MP for East Are. One window that Parliament can use is actually referring the matter, the issue to the Environment Parliamentary Standing Committee through a motion so the committee can look into all this, the state of the reports and so on. So that's one window for Parliament. Someone can move the motion that it be referred to the for consideration by the Standing Committee on Environment, and then therefore it will report the details back to Parliament, and then becomes a public information that's available. That's just one window as far as Parliament is concerned. There are others, but I'm looking at this as a possible option. So a member can move a motion that Parliament considers the State of the Environment report, and then report back to Parliament the outcome, investigate what has been covered through the years and what's the scope, including our standing against the obligations under UNEP, that can also be covered. That's just one window I'm trying to put forward here for consideration by members. Thank you. But with that understanding, Honourable MP for East Malaita, perhaps you can make a summary for the Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, before me thank him, Minister, we just like for making a few comments, Mr. Speaker. I think it's good for when questions are raised, then if you are supervising minister and you need to leave it for the minister responsible for answer, then you can see the clock in the morning so that we can change that. I think that is one thing we like for raising, Mr. Speaker, because some of these questions time and raised come, as we have seen this morning. If some state minister not by him looking by him understanding the ministry. So I think it's good to work on that one for next questions that by come for immediate ministers. Also, Mr. Speaker, usual thing usually happen, we have to want questions. PSs must always attend Parliament. This is very important. Yeah, sometimes our ministers, by understand them good, several part lot questions. PSs are accountable officers of the ministry for implementing our policies here. And so we need the PSs for come or officials to attend during questions or during budget time. This is very important. Let me start for doubt, Mr. Speaker. When we come into Parliament, this is very strong. Yeah? PSs usually here now, officials are here. But this time, yeah, for Parliament, then we look in, no officials can come to Parliament. Even question times. So this is one thing I just want to remind what ministries now, Mr. Speaker, for must attend him what question times and budget session by him come here. So that is how for me answer more the questions here, Mr. Speaker. I think, yeah, on the the reports that are coming out, Mr. Speaker. I find it that sometimes we ministries now need to work harder, ministries, to implement some of these issues. I agree with the leader of opposition. Yeah? We have Sidan Malaba, PAC just finished ago with a chairman blow, PAC lawyer. Yeah, some of those allocations to these ministries are very small, Mr. Speaker. How can you implement it? How do we implement in Moto Wakaya? And then, Prime Minister, this is priorities. These are priorities that we work on it. Priorities, why not budget there? By Wakalam. So I think those are things that I would like to raise here. Thank you very much, Minister, Supervising Minister, for at least you answered several questions or supplementary questions. I'll move on to my next question, sir.
Next question, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. In the order paper, we go for Minister of Lands and Housing and Survey. Can the Minister explain A, whether the recognition of customary land and landholding group is currently being treated as a priority with the government's development agenda, and B, what concrete steps are being taken to streamline customary land recording across all sectors? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The floor, sir.
Thank you, Speaker. Let me start by saying this one, that it is good to give thanks to the Lord, for his mercy endureth forever. Just to calm the situation in the House, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to say thank you to the leader of the independent group and the MP for East Malaita to ask 2 questions to the Minister for Lands this morning. The question, if I have to reframe that, it says that whether recognition of customary land and land recording groups is currently being treated as a priority with the government's development agenda. The answer to that, Mr. Speaker, sir, and thank you, is an obvious yes. The recognition of customary land and landholding group is a priority of this government, Mr. Speaker, and not only by the Janet government, but by all previous government. Generally speaking, and more specifically, I'd quote Section 8 of the Constitution, which is the highest law of the country, protects customary land recording groups, that no person shall be deprived of their property arbitrarily. Majority, if not all, development of this nation resides on customary land, sir. And as such, good governance requires customary land recording groups or landowners to must be firstly consulted. This is how customary land and customary land groups are on the priority list on a development agenda. Sir, on policy level, previous governments, the raiser of the question this morning was also former Deputy Prime Minister, and this has been, well, there has been a blueprint for development on the National Development Strategy 2016-2035, a 20-year plan that frames national visions, outcome and sector priorities for economic development, security, peace, the environmental protection, as we have alluded to and listened to it, that has been exhaustively debated a while ago. This NDS 2016-2035 is a living document, sir, that has been passed through successive governments up to date and will continue into the future. This living document recognizes the importance of the role that customary land and customary land holding groups on development, and without customary land holding groups' consent and approval, there will be no development on customary land. And the ministry, for which I am 3 months old in there, is working very hard to ensure that land holding groups get uttermost benefit from developments on customary land. And yes, again, customary land and customary land holding groups is a priority for the development agenda of this government. I'd say the Customary Lands Recording Act, Cap 132, was passed in 1994 and came into effect in 1995 by a Gazette notice, but was never implemented until 2017 by the DCCG government. That was when the government decided to fully implement the recording as a fundamental policy then. Part two of the question raised, sir, by the good leader of Independent and MP for East Malaita is a question of steps taken to streamline customary land recording across all sectors. Sir, I will do my best to answer this one. All different sectors are governed by their different regulations and policies, whether, as has been repeated, whether it's mining, fisheries, forestry, you name it. But my ministry is working tirelessly to streamline the land recording process across all sectors, and we are currently, if the BLC would remember that the team from the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Survey, consisting of the PS, the Commissioner, and the National Recorder, appeared before the Bills and the Legislation Committee and made recommendations to the committee on the land holding group identification process to be in sync with the process of customary land recording. And I believe my good colleague and colleagues from the Ministry of the Mines Department has taken these recommendations on board. The vision is that every single development that happens on customary land will have to come through the customary land recording process to identify ownership of customary land when we talk development. The process of identification of customary land holding groups is scattered within different ministries, sir. And the challenge with the customary land is the identification of customary land holding groups is done in different forums, different panels, and for different purposes. Now, in recognition of this challenge, the Ministry of Lands is working closely with relevant stakeholders to streamline the process of customary land recording to make it more effective, efficient, and for customary land holding groups. The ministry is also currently working with two provincial governments, that is Guadalcanal and Malaita, to establish the land recording office in both provinces. For Malaita, I think my PS arrived back yesterday. We plan to open the land recording office in Auki before the year concludes. And so we'll be down there in the next 2-3 weeks. We'll be looking at how our parliament sits, and then we'll go across and open the land recording. It's already in the budget, it's factored in the budget for 2026. That is, before the end of the year. The streamlining process will continue to other provinces as well. It's already in the budget for 2026. It is a process that also touches the women and the youth to be represented when this is negotiated in community settings. So if you are disabled, or the voice of the young people, the youth, the voice of the women are heard when our team from the ministry goes out into various sections of the community to do and complete all these recordings. It takes approximately about 6 months before the actual recording certificates will be given out to the respective communities. And the latest one, if I could remember or heard, was done to the good people of Makira province. I think was 2 certificates given to them. The team in the National Recording Unit is headed by a group of ladies, where the negotiations and the feeling of gender, and this was raised by the women of Solomon Islands who have been through it, that it makes them easy when the women's headed the negotiating team on land recording. Their voice is being heard, and that is how we streamline this process. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable MP for Auckland, Leader of Opposition.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I was kind of hoping and expecting by Minister had me say, we will not get enough manpower and not enough selling for doing this one. Make a new apum, but a critical program now this one. You must apum manpower times by maybe 5 or 6, and you place him over the provincial centers and then put him selling, make him do more. At the moment, what is holding it back is a lack of resources. It's a very good program, but he may not achieve enough because you may not resource him. So really, must stop waiting public service and finance no more. You mean resourcing. Me no looking lo budget lo 2026 ya. Auki office me looking me baro happy lo minister. But must office lo everywhere more. Make a me baro apon because it really is a good program. And then the issue raised by the minister with regards to minerals bill or getting to mining licenses. The current process is really problematic. It is why we have problems with mining leases. We call them mining leases, but they're really not mining leases because you're dealing with customary land, and the way you take him that for land go and him end up in a lease, he got him issues with him to side law land. That has to be sorted out. The current bill that's before committee, bills committee, have not addressing that issue too. So by me expecting problems, these have to be addressed. But the front end loading of it is customary land recording. So resourcing about a key question. So the question comes back, law original question, rule leader, priority. Once you say him priority block government, will put your money where your mouth is. Jesus and me say, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So even priority and heart blue lo there, but you look in budget allocation lo me. This one there, member central quartile mo lo no me. But true one so I think this is going to be the challenge. I'm a little bit late now because budget lo 26 lo here now, but we will story about him for supplementary next year. You need to address him. Let's get it done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Leader of Opposition. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Leader. Thank you. Appreciative of the comments raised by the Leader. In terms of improvement for surveying the border, I'd like to thank the Australian government. In fact, 4 weeks ago, they've donated the GIS equipment worth millions to the ministry. I was there to witness it, to enhance this work. That is why probably we didn't see the budget for drones and all that, because it was donated by our development partner, the Australian government, to the ministry. But our plans to go into other provinces, yes, it is still in its planning stages. As this new Minister for Lands, I'm really behind this leader and colleagues within the House. Once again, thank you, and noted of all the comments raised.
Thank you. Honourable MP for Western Are.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Minister. Me bara encourage millions of equipment him come. You ask him more million for okataman by wakalo equipment ya. Wasem bita him itarena. Him must go out there good program. Me bata me cherish no more by for auki no more was South Malita. Me fall by no more everything call auki no more. You take note, Minister. My supplementary question, Mr. Speaker, is lo a no more. The customary land and customary land holding groups. If groups here got current rights, how many group rights now? Government have recognized in time, he deal with them. At least how many time you deal with them government development law at the rural area? How many group rights here? Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Honourable Member for West Harare. Honourable Minister.
Thank you for supplementary. Good colleague from West Harare. About 2 weeks ago, there are more than 35 groups from the Kohota tribe from Gold Ridge came down raising the same issue. What is the strength of this land recording document? It's an act, Land and Titles Act, the Customs Land Recording Act 1994. It belongs to the ministry, and the ministry will defend it. But in terms of mining, after having this certificates, they've notified the ministry. We've notified the Ministry of Mines that this would be the people. When you want to issue an LOI, a letter of intent, that will take you up to the SARA, this is valid enough. But then the law and the conditions, according to the rulings of the Court of Appeal and the SMM and Axiom case, it structures the acquisition process by law. And before the license is registered, according to Section 146, maybe Section 39, you read them both, the process is there. That means acquisition process would have to come in. And that is the weight that is land owners from Gold Ridge came in and was inquiring, will the can of worms once again be opened up for them? But this is the stand that it belongs to the ministry. We will defend our certificate to them on behalf of the land owning group. It gives them the confidence that this is the road and the best way out. So yes, it has weight according to the 1994 Act. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable MP for East Harare.
Thank you, Speaker. You know, this one is very, very important in terms of our own development as a nation. So much so that Mifalo East Harare na best ones for Malaitana for actually getting involved with them, support the ministry in terms of this customary land boundary recording. So that is something that at least Harare tribes, some of them, felt important that they should be involved in. The question has always been that this one, what about him doing? I mean, he doing finish this kind of type here, or he involved inside? What now meaning blind? And that is always a question that I think we might have to be prepared to answer, or give some sort of answer, where people say, okay, he involved this one, him law na. For us, you know, we see it as a law of the country, and the ministry is doing its best to implement it. We see a value in it. But I think the better value would be what might be following after. So that one, I think the broader policy, just wanted to ask the Minister, groups that have gone through this already, that have already got their boundaries recorded and registered, certificate issued already. It was a big ceremony last Parliament with the former Minister was there in East Harare and looking at some of the tribes who went through the whole process. It was a bit cumbersome, a bit long. I think the idea of trying to see if we can fast track it is important in terms of moving forward. But I think the idea of what comes next. Once tribes who have gone through this have done this, and then the boundaries are already defined. Because what we found, Mr. Speaker, is that most of the tribes and the people already know what the boundaries are. What the kind of equipment and come coordinates what the measure go follow River Australia and easy for that. So staka logata what the current hearings and also and they very much appreciate the fact that this is. But I think the fact that we're trying to put it at the national registry so that it becomes another tool for us to really use when we go into development more broadly is probably where because staka logata tribes is have finished no more now. Stream here or river here, marking no boundary with each other. But the question is what's next in terms of a policy direction for this? Because over this side of the house, there's a lot of good ideas here in terms of what might be next for this sort of things. But me feel like hearing from you fella government, what now next in terms of this, and how does it move into the broader development of the nation moving forward, knowing that of course most of the land is customary. What we just spoke about earlier, the environment is also in customary, logging, mining, everything here and up inside customary land, and it has broader implications, FIB, all of those implications that come in. But I think it's the steps, part B, what the concrete steps, streamlining this, of course, but then after that important work, what is the incentive? Perhaps that's a question. The incentive for tribes, groups blame it to be involved inside land recording, Lokata. And I made it a big issue when I cleared it to my people. It's land recording, no land registration. You know, land recording is separate from land registration. You may not need in piece paper. Registration, it needs title and piece paper. Recording, the fact that our customs are such that you born come inside lo tribe, you don't need in piece paper to us. But it's a very important fundamental difference there. So we appreciate the efforts that have been undertaken. Our resources need to be given to this one. But then the question would be, what's next for those that have done this, or those that are looking forward to do this, to incentivize those groups to really come forward and imi go down this important road. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable MP for East Tarare. Honourable Minister.
Thank you for the supplementary. Thank you, MP for East Tarare. And the questions raised, what's next after being given the certificate? There's a lot of vacuum in this question, because I, as Minister, raised a lot of those questions as well to the Land Recording Department. And I'm well versed with the issues of the issues down at West Ariare, but I'm so happy that after that they resolved this. But what's next? The donation by the Australian government is one that was well received by the Ministry of the what they call it drone linear survey equipment. It's beyond my understanding. I don't do GIS, but they said it's going to fly to difficult terrains. They will go back and redo this so that it's registered from there, where they can't go inside. They will fly this and they will map it. I know, because they've done something out at Goring similar to this one. And so what's next? For development, when you talk about development, you're talking about public interest. And public interest demands more than just this document. And simply meaning that the land must now be acquired. And when the head of the land recording unit came, and I was questioning them on this issue, as I've repeated myself, there are, in terms of policy, Hemigarim stuck holes in there. And we are so happy that UNDP is stepping in to assist us on these vacuums. DFAT is also coming, and when the funds ran out, because it has a time space for their commitment to this work, the Solomon Island government takes on and continues the program. But what's next is development. And to incentivize this one, this is still in a planning stage within the ministry that I'm only leading for just about 3 months now. But I do believe that we will enhance more and put in more effort as the supplementary will come in on 2026. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable MP for Small Malaita.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a supplementary again for Minister in explaining that for a bit, but I understand also two fala something, Minister mentioned Lord. One fella land recording, and the other is acquisition. Me like survey what two fala different process, or and this land recording process is under a different legislation. I think this legislation Land Recording Act 1994. Acquisition process no mi like saben hemlo normal lands act or hemlo nara this will customary land recording act as well. But in terms of this question where is there aremi askemia the minister hemi talem next something nice development. But me want to say if any landing group, land owning group, me come ask him, or you follow go make him recording law, customary land law. Is that a requirement for you will determine whether this piece of land will come with him, suitable for development, whichever kind of development you like, and before you will go to him land recording. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you, Honourable MP for Small Malaita. There are two parts to the question that he raised. One is the difference between the land recording and the process of acquisition. If I could give you a good example, the land recording document might take you up in terms of mines, will take you up to Sarah. And when you're talking about development, it's public interest, even for building a school. You need to have that piece of land registered. That's when the acquisition process kicks in. In terms of the requirement, not all applications that do come into the ministry, that is according to the advice given to me, that were dealt on, because some of the requests and the notes, the letters that were submitted to the ministry when our director from the recording unit and the advisor were looking at all this and putting insights together, some fellow got him dispute lahem, so got no go inside lahem. And some other blocks of land, there were already development inside there. The plannings and everything has gone way beyond past the land recording. So the team within the ministry only strategically positioning and planning which one to take first. Whether Hemgarim development priority lohem, whether government Hemgarim plan lohem. So this is how this team of women that were looking after this recording, selecting which one to take them on first. They are saying no to the ones that development and going 60% now. They are saying no to the ones where litigation sitting and covering mokata. They are saying no when the one fellow got him caveat over. And so, yes, they were doing their due diligence before only move out of the field. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also would like to thank MP for Small Malaita for that question. I think in relation to, just to supplement Minister Watun Talem, two distinct processes, two, let me say, different policy agendas behind. For example, with the customary land recording, the idea behind that is to identify primary landowners, primary rights landowners for each certain areas. So that's where you have national recorder go out on the application of what landowners, or if government on its initiative like doing land recording lot areas. Yeah? So you doing that on first time for you may recording what are certain areas. Now, once we record those areas, as Minister Talem, in the end, if we have mining come in, time like signing surface access agreements or rights agreements, you know who to go to, rather than you go around the village no more than you ask us manlo area also. So, so that's with that. But the whole idea behind that is to ensure that we identify the real primary right landowners for that area, and also too, in that regard, development can progress because we know who those landowners are. In terms of compulsory land acquisition, only government can compulsory acquire land. However, it must be for a public purpose and only for a public purpose. So if government like land for, let me say, hospital, police station, clinic, or let me say school, or some sort of public interest, Minister of Lands now by him issuing this notice of public compulsory acquisition. So that's for that. But I come back to land recording. Once we get to that, and the next thing is, what our landowners can elect for coming to first registration. So if they want to register their land as a first registration under the Lands and Title Act, that is something that can be explored after all those processes. Maybe there's an appeal process, go on, because you say once go na run by go court mo go once it's settled, then that's one ultimate outcome which we'd like to achieve. Now, in terms of moving forward, in that one of the idea policy changes which we're trying to embark on, which started in DCGA under former Minister of Lowlands Ismail Avui, is we were trying to look at the New Zealand iwi tribes here, how they do their trust law system. So, and for that, by me start looking how now after land recording, how him come under this trust law system. So it gives landowners that trust and also that you may say confidence in giving their land up, which they know that whatever comes will benefit them. So the iwis or the New Zealand, how they do their landowning system, they come under trust. Or trust not doing everything for that, invest in. So some of the trusts are $1 billion setups. So based on that, that's the next thing we're trying to do in terms of reform. We were supposed to trial that with Tina Coland tribes or landowner Tina Coland, but then it's still ongoing. Now the High Commissioner of Law New Zealand is none other than His Excellency Ismail Avui too. So him just come back last week, him say he's found some of the iwis that we could go and have a talk story with him and see how best we could move go to the next level in terms of the customary landowners, how we help him. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General. Honourable MP for Small Malaita.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank the Honourable Attorney General for his clarification, where me give him a question. So me got one for supplementary, falling on to probably Minister Noma for answering that one. I am assuming this whole process, Minister not by and pay you, so I can confirm this land recording work here. But the staff blame and department blame now for carry him out for any landowning group we have interest, and ministry agree or got people blame now for go work alone, go to him. Then suppose and finish, land recording finish, I assume now the sasavelo what the boundaries to law process here. So go if go custom stage where also the Honorable Attorney General have me explain him come. If the landowning groups or like to progress on to registering land where or the doing recording law ministries have go ahead for doing for landowning groups. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you for the supplementary. Thank you, MP for Small Malaita. Finance law initial phase, yes, Minister, Hemi look after him in terms of registration. Yes, Ministry, Hemi by assist with that. Also, but the second part law question you by me around AG for gold touching because it involves a bit of legal issues are there. Thank you, AG. But in terms of finance, yes, ministry by look after the initial phase. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney General. Perhaps you could repeat that part of it that the AG is required to make an intervention on.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Minusa hana for dividend one for Minister and one for Attorney General. But question below me, I come also me. This already the land recording process. Yeah. I'm assuming Ministry now by carrying out on behalf of landowning group where I agree for what them and him affirm him. So me ask once this landowning group or like to progress on to registering this land or the dream land recording lohemia. Ministry is doing too for landowning group. Yeah, no question below me so. That one no Attorney General by answer lohem I think. Budget now I'm law Attorney General. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, MP, for Swan Writer for that question. Yes, once that is completed, there is under the Act Office of Land Record Office. Then him know by every record will be kept in that office, and you shall go and searching for looking what honors what are certain areas. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Previous governments all get and I think very sensible policy, no responses from Minister. I think the anticipation, the expectation of policy here was that all get a customary land, recording genealogies and what the taboo sites here and boundaries here, which is what the recording, customary land recording process may try for doing. Then eventually, we don't have it yet, but this is part of the reform that must come. Eventually, Bahami end up law customary land register, as opposed to land register where we got design for registered land. So we're not forcing tribes to cede land onto the current land register under the Land Titles Act. I really would encourage the minister to go back to that policy so that if the current process can be further clarified with registration, but then registration under law customary land in a customary land or tribal land registry as opposed to migrating them. And then law side acquisition here, we will have the benefit of two side everyone. One, protecting in what should be inalienable rights, law tribes or customary landholding groups. At the same time, there is a pathway for development, public purpose development, private sector development to have access to that registry. If we did that, I think we would be achieving both objectives. If you may say must acquire more than go on another registry, we know how vexatious disputes and also conflict has become for that follow process. So I would encourage the ministry to go back to that policy position. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Leader. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Leader and MP for Langlanga. All is noted, and I'll bring it back to the office. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable MP for East Churchill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's just a clarification from Minister about the programs are very important, very, very important. I'm opening up opportunities for the rural area. But the lands here remain idle, no man is suffering emotion. So it's a very important program. So if every province is wait, but you wait forever now. Because if you start no more and Malaysia, so other provinces are basically no more now. So it's probably another 20 years down the line. So if tribes, for example, or come and say, me follow on them, you will doing for me follow and people willing for funding. Also with the ministry be, survey, we look a lot at one. So, for example, if you need an office, we have a 10-room office administrative block there, empty no staff, and 6 staff houses, 3 bedrooms, in preparation for decentralization of public offices will go down. And also, it never took off under the decentralization program that you want to do as part of the constituency development program. So, but the office here remain idle. So, if you need an office, you go down there. So if some tribes also want them, and people are willing to fund them, you also go down now.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, MP for East Choizo. Thank you very much for the offer. I will convey that to my team within the ministry. I think in terms of provinces where the team only finishing, I think Isabel, not biggest one. I don't remember the number, the amount of certificates that had been given to Isabel province. I think Isabel was taking the lead, and then Guadalcanal and Malaita coming second. That's, if I could remember correctly, off the pages that I've seen in the office. Makira, a recent one, him take him certificate, Blohem. I wish I had records here with me this morning so that I can give you the exact villages, names, and names of the tribes, but it's not handy to me right now. But I will supply that to you, my good MP for East Choizo, and I will convey to the ministry on behalf of my ministry, thank you so much for the offer. We will carry and we'll put serious note onto it for the consideration offered here this morning. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable MP for East Harare.
Thank you for your indulgence and allowing me another question. Just on that, Minister, thank you so much for your answers. The idea of the next steps, it's linked together with the tribes. You know, so how many tribes in Emigaram Solomon? But the idea is, Imitadale may be a very diverse group, but if you know how many tribes in Madgaran, whether that could be linked to that, or that's another separate policy issues that new law by coming for me registering more the tribes, or at least record them no more, the tribes blame. Yes, I think it's closely linked to this. One of the good things that me looking out of this is a thank you to your ministry and through to confirm what support them, but then funding. Funding is a big thing, so I think the lack of funding or need for boosting very important. This one, you me what honourables, lebete help side no more for. Usually KK no more man, KK no more big part le. People blame me like KK too much. So idea is to really help that process for finish. But the link to tribes, you know, I see there's a good policy decision no more that this one and also linked with them tribes, recording of tribes. So even though recording number land, but I'm sure the information in there is also already recording some of the tribes in that. So I think that's a very important piece. My question no more, and also good to know that maybe some of the story Blomitwala former minister Lo Afio on the way in come out New Zealand now. Opointem go lo there now. Because the same question we ask him lo there, lo him, what the next step? Lo there. On the way to the launching of this tribal recording last parliament. So that's good. Once again, thank you to the ministry. In terms of your answer or development, this would be the next step is development. And the idea, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that there's already development happening there. I think if you want to call logging, development too, it's already happening. Tourism, so go ahead, tourism, this land. Mining, go ahead, this sort of land. So if these are also seen as development, and they're happening without already this fella recording, what other developments are you perhaps thinking of when you say this will be for development? I mean, one of the next steps, because logging, go ahead, no more, I mean, also how many years now? Over 40 years now. Mining, picking up, of course, now in the kind half in more land that is customary. So the idea is I'm just trying to see what the minister might be thinking of when MM say development, what kind of development one he might be thinking of, or what the government might be thinking of. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member for East Harare. Honourable Minister.
Thank you for the supplementary MP for East Harare. when I'm referring to development, according to reports that are miscited, it involves tourism, agriculture, development, as by me repeating Mr. Leva, that has gone way beyond the process of land recording, or is sidelining. The ones that have caveats over them or sidelining, the ones having litigation in the court process or sidelining, the ones that it's under heavy, rugged terrain, only think about safety first before you go inside. But because when you pushing on public interest, it demands the paperwork to progress through MP. Also, time we talk about development in terms of climate resilience, underneath here. I think a good example is the one from Lilisiana in Auki that my team has just completed, that one in terms of climate resilience. So when I'm talking about development, me pushing this expansion through that one. But more briefs will be given to me as I matured within the ministry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Honourable Member for East Malayton.
Thank you, Speaker. Just like for thank you, Minister. Thank you very much, Minister, for your answers. I think for the clear. Thank you very much for the government. Through your ministry, the customary land recording, I think you hear him say, like him too, for what constituencies blocked for doing recording law. I think this is very important now, Minister. And I thank you for your ministry for continuing for doing that one. I think small Malaita, I think I'm finished now, Minister. Mifala is like him, but still, I think small Malaita is still on it for recording, land recording. So I think you have heard from yourself that very good program, and I thank you, Minister, and thank your ministry for continue for move on that fella. And his choice of him. There are some offices done. I think the problem, me agree a little bit, law leader. You look no more law manpower setup. I think we have in front with your PS law, PAC, and need him a little bit, yeah. Manpower for this. If every province need to one time manpower and finance a little bit. But thank you very much for answering our supplementary questions, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable for East Malayton. Next question, Honourable MP for Auckland. Question number 72.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker. So question number 72, Emi Golongo, Minister Below Police. Emi read also, can the Minister inform the House on the findings of the Royal Solomon Islands Police Force regarding the 3 reported abandoned submarine vessels recently discovered in Solomon Islands waters? Member Blown by Lena, like I to must answer this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Mr. Speaker. Me like to thank him too. Good friend, the Honourable Leader of Opposition, Honourable MP for Auke Langalanga. Important question insofar as security blow you me am concerned. And so, Honourable Speaker, on that, not by me wish for informing this along. Honourable House that RSIPF through Lokata relevant department, the Maritime Department, Fire Service Department, and Explosive Ordnance Division, Forensic Unit, and including Transnational Crime Unit, attended to 2 of the reported sites of the abandoned narco-type vessels where Honourable Leader Emi referred to. One Hemilo Goveo village, Santa Isabel Province, and the other Hemilo Faurau village lo northeast Malaita. And so today by me presenting a report of the fighting where me fala able for establishing. One that me Logowea village lo Isabel province lo 2nd of August 2025 joined RSIPF assessment team okata visiting na saitia Logowea village and best law inspection lokata the following na me like for inform him this honorable house and the public at large lo country blame vessel and small Nico submarine type craft were likely and been drift law ocean for less than 1 year and minimum not too much long time yes and according to marine expert analysis lo okata components blame and condition blow detail about and estimated that there might be there at least 6 months but not more than 1 year. We have fitted with him 4 high-powered outboard motors and fighting and indicate him resembling matching Yamaha 75 horsepower engine. Now what specification of those 4 units of engine loaded a particular boat. There were visible signs of corrosion of engine because I'm exposed to sea for long and engine parts and consist with prolonged water exposure so things low salt water may pass side boat and engine. Now the cabin space hemi garamavala cabin yellow front was fibro but that one hem no higher just same level with him boat hemi appear capable of accommodating approximately 2 to 3 people hem nalo fighting where hemi indicating small operational crew and according to fighting it's a typical narco sub vessel where usually survey involved nalo but drug trafficking and also the limitation of the finding is that due to that vessel being exposed to salt water for long and water inside the team hem nona for conducting na swab test which by establishing whether or not any chemical component of narcotic materials have inside law that are both. So that the test cannot be conducted, even if I'm conducted, by cannot detect any sign of narcotic drugs like that particular boat. Also limited in terms of by non-conductive to fingerprint processing. Low storage component of that particular boat vessel may contain a tunnel-like compartment commonly used for nickel submarine for drugs, as me alluded to earlier, sir. This compartment too be empty at the time upon inspection, and no narcotics, no weapons or contraband, any package of concealed items, not found on board at the time where team go investigating. From fighting in terms of working together within communities for gathering intelligence information, RSIPF and work within what chiefs and villages for taken report, and finding was that the vessel already empty upon discovery and no individuals or cargo or suspicious activities were cited in connection with that particular vessel, sir. Only identification cards were containing Spanish details no more, hemi found at the time, which were later translated by our intelligence unit Bloyumi only through Google translator application, and these informations are imported where RSIPF and communicated within our regional and international bodies Bloyumi, or bodies that will, can assist us in identifying origins blow data vessel mi falasyarin na those only that particular intelligent information available. To date, me no take any detailed information whether you may establish in where now or what names here, hemi origin from, but we are keeping in touch to ensure me fala able for substantiating origins of what people were owning now what ID cards here. Okay, lo Forau village lo northeast Malaita sir, lo 4th of October 2025, the RSIPF in Malaita province so got a report receiving a report of another abandoned narco-type submarine sighted offshore lo Forau village. And so assessment team comprising Provincial Commander Blo Malaita Province, Operational Manager and supporting officers, also attended na site here. And these are findings, Mr. Speaker, sir. Vessel have no many engine attached to it, and several cables where connect lo engine and mechanical component of that boat appear to have been cut, which might suggest him that there's intentional disconnection and removal of motor engine lo detala particular boat. Approximately a few liters lo diesel have remained lo 4 fuel tanks where hemi near the steering area lo detala particular boat. The vessel featured 2 visible hatches for storage purposes. Lo there, one leading na lo engine compartment lo behind, and other lo front lo cabin. No any photograph not taken from that particular boat, unlike the first one, due to file where Auki police and he said that maybe flash drive not to pass waka good or and so file transfer no waka pictures na me no garen like the first one. So now based on those information, Mr. Speaker, sir, RSIPF am concluding that our vessels here are highly likely to have been used for transportation of illicit drugs, which have been consistent with the designs and features of narco submarines, which have been used internationally for purpose of illegal trading of illegal drugs. However, for those that you may find him, no drugs, no weapons or any item related to those have found law either vessels, Mr. Speaker, sir. Both vessels were abandoned and left and unoccupied when discovered. Law Goveo vessel, yes, sir, I have some signs of recent maritime activity with operational component, suggesting hemi, as what I have said, hemlo see not more than one year. So it can be low sea or suspected to be low sea at least 6 months, between 6 months and 1 year. Lo Faurau, one that found Lo Faurau, that vessel require further expert assessment, particularly lo steering and engine serial number, and that will require technical expert to allow transnational crime unit to cross-reference information through international law enforcement networks like Interpol and other regional law enforcement agencies with that, HEMI recommended a recommendation, sir, is that extensive public awareness RSIPF by HEMI continue for conducting across all provinces to encourage community for promptly reporting any unusual sign or sighting any suspicious maritime activity where unfamiliar local communities island encounter. And so that is a strategy we are working on to ensure our citizens are aware of a evolving security threat, and especially presence vessels or objects related to what illegal drug traffickers using for transporting illegal drugs. Also, we are working on enhancing information sharing, collaboration between RSIPF or the law enforcement agencies, the law region, especially Pacific Transnational Crime Network Group I believe one office blood Fiji, including what regional partners what the relevant NGOs that work law security sector for sharing information and supporting monitoring movement such vessel or borders. Also, we are working on to continue building capacity and resourcing support towards RSIPF's maritime and transnational crime unit for strengthening monitoring, interdiction and investigative response capability, given country within big ocean space, expensive for able for maintaining security and lookout law borders law marine area law ocean but we remain confident and thankful law partners we are supporting for keeping me alert law fighting with information. So while the RSIPF's finding indicate that these vessels are consistent with non-narco submarine design using illicit drug trafficking, to date no evidence of drug possession, trafficking or armed activity was found on board those two vessels that we are able to go and do investigation. Investigations remain ongoing at this time, and Ministry have continued to liaise with regional and international partners. What we would like to actually arrive on is to trace the origin and possible network linked to these discoveries. Our available information and leading evidence at the moment is only those ID cards that can be available. Within that one, sir, I wish to thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Make 3 vessel, you will know, go investigating. Lo here no more, blow loan by land no more. You will go to far away one here, but this one here, you will know. Little bit go system LM Lulu Brown him, okay?
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So my understanding that was one where Isabel then come here. So it's been investigated. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Honourable MP for Small Malaita.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, Hemi, one for sign where and look also in this narcotic activity transmission of the substances a little bit bigger. You may start for looking more now, but me when sabe bueno o gata boat here, o gata submarine here, mi kukutun lo where this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. At the moment, lo understanding below me, RSIPF am not involved in getting those vessels come lo area lo RSIPF. What we do is we conduct intensive assessment, collecting all the photos and information that by directly related to finding where water come from. But not that we are in possession of him inside law, mifal holem at the moment. So that's our priority at the moment, but not that mifal holem. Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you, Honourable MP for Small Malaita.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So these findings were sometime last month. I'm just wondering, in collaboration with other transnational security authorities, both in the region but also outside of the region, whether anything or what we can do more in our efforts or in their efforts, lo help me for sasala good law or the items will all same time or the go show over the source belonging me. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and we like for thanking too MP for Small Malaita for that question that MP raising. I will say that ongoing training local experts believe me for conducting assessment law of areas that related to drugs and as I've said earlier, we could have do swabbing. That's one actions that we can take so that CPM secured and they are drugs or solo there we can definitely detect them and substantiate them. Unfortunately, no more now substance here and water and full upload. One is fingerprinting, as we say. But because of these experiences, sir, we continue to work with our bilateral partners in ensuring that human building capacity, Blogata, RSIPF, technical people in the areas of drug-related offenses, including technical expertise, law, able for not only chemically identify him, but be able to trace him and look savvy that different types of way of try to conceal him of drugs. So yes, that's an ongoing cooperation that we have with our good development partners, and I wish to say that work can be continue for progress, and they are offers for continue supporting you in that regard. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, sir. Has some analysis been done for giving me an indication of routes, trade routes, drug smugglers here, where now cheap here come from, then offload in this for fiberglass canoe here, then go pick up somewhere. We know, I mean, the main suspect is him coming from Colombia somewhere, coming into the Pacific. By the time him come Kasim Pacific, come to Tonga, Fiji, because they have big drug problems there now. Byproduct of this for trade is some of it is actually landing in the Pacific Islands. We have a drug problem now. If we don't understand these routes, it'll get worse. So is there any analysis done? So you may understand him a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Leader. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. That question is very important, Mr. Speaker, sir. Given our country and the sharing borders law, a number of countries that transshipment of drugs and intrusion of illegal vessels that carry drug, we cannot do this alone. Our priority now is to work with our neighboring country and regional partner for tracing what route that hem kablo. We cannot substantiate at the moment whether those vessels are intended for Kamlo Solomon Island or hem offload one of our neighboring country and then drift come. And that's the current collaboration between Solomon Island, our neighboring Pacific Island countries, and of course our regional and international security partner. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Leader.
You mean for me wind up now?
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I do wish to thank the Minister. This time, America go ahead bomu mogat exactly kind boat in at 5 glass lo Caribbean. So, talent patrol boat, putum stuck a gun inside. Then look at what money shooting mogat. Pieces in boot loget. Also, because you mean no garam selling what take out come more and go coat more, feeding mogat more, pem toilet paper mogat more. Hey, by everything you do, you shoot him out, kill him mogat was so lot, you know. You can finish gold there. America now, big democracy, do him, I do him too. Then, if ICC like for deal with me, Prime Minister, you just go story with him over behind. But because you know, maybe ICC too, so I think I'm right now. But anyway, it's a very serious problem, and we're looking forward to the amendment bill for come. Like MUMI updating penal code and what other legislations you may need it for tackling those drugs that are landing and are causing real problems for some of our communities. But I do wish to thank the Minister for his responses.
Thank you, Honourable Member. To the next question, please. MP for Westquarra, to the Honourable Minister for Health and Medical Services.
Yeah, thank you, Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity. Question 73 regarding Labour Ward Upgrade Plan and is to be put forward to the Minister of Health and Medical Services for answering. It comes in 3 parts. Part 1, does the Ministry of Health and Medical Services Committee have any plans to build a separate operating theatre for the Labour Ward? 2, is this project included in the Ministry's budget plan? 3, are there any plans to upgrade other parts of the Labour Ward as part of this development? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister of Health and Medical Services, please.
Thank you, Speaker. I wish to acknowledge and thank the Honourable MP for West Kwarai for asking this very important question. Mr. Speaker, let me respond to question A on if my ministry has any plans to build a separate operating theatre for the Labour Ward. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Health and Medical Services has approved the NRH's management plan to rebuild and upgrade the old gynecology, antenatal wards and labour wards into a new complex story building starting from 2026. This comprehensive redevelopment, Mr. Speaker, includes plans for a dedicated operating theatre for an obstetrics and gynecology cases, where Baham providing now 24-hour service for both elected and emergency cases for operation. In regards to question B, Mr. Speaker, whether this project include in the Ministry's budget plan, Mr. Speaker, this project is already incorporated into the 2026 development budget. If we may look law, PAC look law second level plans, second level health service plans, MIFLA budget for him, and also part of it is included in the NRH's recurrent budget.
for ensuring implementations. Relating to question C, Mr. Speaker, on if there are any plans to upgrade other parts of the labour ward as part of this development, Mr. Speaker, as part of the plan, there will be an additional labour beds specifically for very high-risk antenatal mothers who require special care, including isolation facilities. This upgrade will also feature high specialized gynecology clinics and high-risk antenatal clinics to better serve the needs of our mothers and babies. Presently, Mr. Speaker, let me report that currently there are 71 beds in the maternal care section, including 10 labour bathing beds, which will be double once this upgrade started in 2026. This architectural scoping work is currently being drafted by the Ministry of Health and Medical Services Infrastructure team and will be discussed further with department staff and hospital management to ensure the project meets its operational needs. Additionally, the new Nahab Uben Bathing Center, Mr. Speaker, is expected to complete in March 2026. It will become operationally fully a few months after the handing over in order to ensure that the staffing and system required for it to function smoothly and are in place. This Uben Bathing Center is intended for reducing overcrowding at NRH, especially to reduce the case overload at the labour ward where more than 5,000 beds bathe occurs annually. The new bathing center has 5 delivery suites and will open 24 hours as well, so it has the capacity to accommodate more than 2,000 beds annually. The Naha bathing, Mr. Speaker, is intended for low-risk pregnancy. The risk assessment of pregnancy is normally conducted during antenatal visits. So, Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, let me inform our mothers out there in the country that antenatal check is very, very important. There are mothers that suffer missing this check here, Mr. Speaker, and may this time for educating that this is very important for your smooth birthing, because once you check good fala before delivery, you don't know the complications that are associated with your delivery. So we have found that many mothers, yes, stop nowhere, and then it was referred to us for delivery, which we don't know the status of those mothers that do not take seriously antenatal visits. So these upgrades, Mr. Speaker, will really address this issue of our good mothers out there where usually complications of delivery. As I said, Mr. Speaker, antenatal mothers therefore will be advised where they should go for safe delivery. High-risk mothers, there are two Bibles identified. If Naha fully operational through that antenatal care, we will classify where not by him safe delivery, where not by garam high risk, where low risk. Once we have the high risk, then we refer to NRH for delivery. So, Mr. Speaker, there are two kinds of delivery. One surgical, which is we call cesarean section, and another one we have normal delivery. So the question pertaining to cesarean section for Imigarem theatre itself, low labour ward, it's very important and crucial for us as we look forward to improve our healthcare service delivery in this country of ours. Mr. Speaker, the new Naha Bathing Center elevates Naha to a Uben Health Center Level 2, according to the Ministry of Health and Medical Service Role Delineation Policy. Therefore, in addition to the services that are already available, the following new services will be available in this new bathing center. One fala now, as I said, bathing for low-risk mother, dental services. Also, fortunately, we will have an X-ray as well lo this fala naha bathing and also scan, yeah, for mothers, which is then it will really, really support and improve our healthcare services. Another service that I'm available as well, lo there by March 2026, is the laboratory test by me able for checking. One of the things too, as a clinicians before entering this house, is hemoglobin test for mothers is very critical, low antenatal check, because we will know whether otagarem hemoglobin more than 110 milligram per deciliter, which is much safer during delivery. And there are some mothers that are anemic, but immunosuppressive status blockade. So that is why Naha Betting will provide this basic routine laboratory test for SAVE, which mothers are safe for delivery, low Naha, and which one should reference low NRH. Another one too, Mr. Speaker, low Naha Betting by pharmacy services too, by providing, and also daily doctor's clinic, especially for obstetricians, to check for our mothers there. The new Naha Birthing Center will require additional staff and will incur additional cost. Tami Herelo, PSC me like thank you in advance. Even though come lo budget debate too yet, but the additional for almost around more than 30 million additional for staff catering for the new staff recruitment in 2026. So thank you, Chairman Lo PAC, through the Speaker, and also your members. In preparation for the handing over and opening, Mr. Speaker, a committee is working behind the scene to ensure that this new facility is ready before it begins its operation. So I want to sincerely thank my good friend, the MP for West Kwarai, through you, Mr. Speaker, for raising this important question, which is related to the health and well-being of our mothers across this country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Yes, thank you, sir. Barab good for Herem Mogata progress where me happen lo Naha Birthing Center. And Minister had me give him out talk for get a mommy for her important, but give him no daddy too. But man causing trouble, you know. If mommy had me start for tell him daddy, hey, you mumu faro, you smell no good. But you say na, I think 1 month si my bubble na. Or I'm like kay egg all way no more or fish yo. Sen lo kwarai si smile, you sem sabe. So especially over the young daddy, you know, you must tell him this will talk strong all get him, Minister, make him okay, take him out mommy go for mark. No good daddy go follow me and go. Mommy sister go celebrate, hey, this one is no good. Me like for serving no more side longo management and governance below Naha Birthing Facility here. And me come under law way, town council or longo NRH or directly on its own under law ministry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for asking the governance component of Naha Birthing, which final time handover, we will give it to the HCC. But as our mandate, health service, Mifala by still regulating and monitoring whether they keep to the standard and ensuring that the service is provided for as the purpose of the project. So Ministry of Health and Medical Services will still keep looking after, assist to look after Naha Birthing. But I want to take this opportunity to essentially acknowledge Australian government through the High Commission here in Solomon Islands for giving us a green light to assist us for the first year after the completion of this project, Mr. Speaker, that by or stand on our side to look after the Naha Birthing once finished and fully functional. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank you, Opposition Leader and the MP for Akilangalanga for raising the governance component of the Naha Birthing. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable MP for Small Malaita.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Me, one of joining Leader of Opposition for thanking Minister for all of it, something when happening Me, this new gynecologist facility here, I bayam lo NRH nama lo current location lo NRH or lo narab any different place. Milu looking some infrastructure development go ahead lo there mino savem or different something yeah or one follow east side and one lo west side, so this one by lo central I think. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you, MP, for Small Malaita for raising this important question. I think it's also good to take this opportunity to inform our public and the good people of Solomon Islands. Looking into the infrastructure law in our heads, law western side, Hemi Theatre, it's an upgrade of our operating theatre. It's a double-story theatre where you meet Garem. Then law eastern side, Hemi TB isolation ward, Bloyumi. It will have a negative pressure law there, which it's one of the standard international standard of preventing diabetes, TB for him spread. So that's those infrastructure. As per the question for upgrade law gynecology and obstetrics department, as you can see that we have a limited number of space. So what we're trying to improve in our health infrastructure is build up, above. So we go department by department, and for improving now infrastructure blow you me. So I think I respond to your question. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank you, MP or Member of Parliament for Small Malaita. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Yeah, thank you. Just in terms of C-sections surgery, how many cases of those do we have a day so that you may look in the demand for this fellow operating theatre? Law NRH, thank you.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Speaker. The C-section, when Tami Wakalo number 9, at least Tami per day, we have at least 3. But that's about more than 10 years ago. I don't have the exact numbers currently, what's our pressure on the C-section, but it's a need where sometimes you want predicting too for the C-section. When you monitor a baby in your antenatal care, when you have fetal distress, you have to operate. There are some times that the man deliver before arrival, but immigrant return of placenta. So those, not only C-section that we need the theatre of, we need other associated high-risk pregnancies that EMI Savenidium theatre. So not only the surgical thing, but there are some other procedures that we need a theatre related to our pregnant mothers from day-to-day cases. I thank you, Speaker, and I thank you, Member of Parliament for Okilangala. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable MP for East Arawe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Honourable Member for West Korai for the question and Minister for the answers. In terms of that assessment that the Minister was talking about that's going to be done, where assessment would inform pregnant women of when about to go Naha or NRH. That assessment, where would it be done? Is it done also in the rural areas as well? And if in the rural areas, are there certain clinics where about carry out that assessment? Thank you.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Antenatal clinics or antenatal check to the pregnant mothers is a primary health care. So we expect mothers in the province go to the primary health care facilities. So those checks can be done in other clinics as well as our hospital providing or area health centers or even provincial health centers. But NAHA is when you suspect low risk. I encourage when it's complete, all the clinics should refer suspected high risk or low risk pregnancy so that they can classify which one have more risk, then you may refer low NRHs for safe delivery. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank you, MP for East Area for that question.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable MP for West Korea.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank those who have contribute to this question, the primary question, more especially for the Honourable Leader of Opposition, Honourable Member Blue Yumilo Small Malaita, Honourable Member Blue Yumilo is Arare, and myself, and also the Honourable Minister for Health Hemsom that me fala 6 fala nomna I think concern lo this fala concern lo this fala question ya where regarding na birthing place for mothers for me, and I do hope that I believe that me fala 6 fala me fala contribute to this motion. We are very good at, and we have consent for the mothers for me. With this, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank the Honourable Minister for Health and Medical Services, believing that this was a project I may put on capable hands for him, and I do believe that by me looking the outcome this one very soon. With this, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank you and resume my seat.
Thank you, Honourable Leader of Opposition. Next question, please. Question number 76.
Yes, thank you, sir. Question 76, again going to the Honourable Minister for Health. Sorry now, the question comes to you today. And it reads, can the Minister provide an update to the House on the implementation of the Tobacco Control Act 2010?
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Speaker. Let me acknowledge my good friend, the MP for Kilangalang and the opposition leader for this is a very good question, especially one of the favorites I say in this honourable House. Mr. Speaker, I would like to highlight that tobacco use continues to be one of the major public health threats in the world, killing more than 8 million people every year. In Solomon Islands, it is estimated that every year 953 deaths are attributed to tobacco, with 214 of these deaths are due to exposure to secondhand smoking, based on the 2019 Global Burden of Disease Study. Solomon Islands became a party, Mr. Speaker, to the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control in August 2004. Since then, the country, through the Tobacco Control Act of 2010, has made significant progress in tobacco control by mandating large graphic warnings on tobacco packaging. If you look at tobacco, Mr. Speaker, can cause lung cancer. Banning some forms of tobacco advertising, promotion, and sponsorship, and banning smoking in some public places. While there is a progress, Mr. Speaker, the country continues to face high prevalence of tobacco use, particularly among men. I will outline the implementation status thus far on 6 broad areas in relation to the Tobacco Control Act 2010. Briefly mention areas that need amendment and the ways forward for tobacco control legislation in Solomon Islands. On the implementation progress to date, Mr. Speaker, number 1, tobacco excise tax legislation is in place to reduce affordability of tobacco products. Implementation on the areas of taxation as follows. In order to implement the Tobacco Control Act 2010, the country issued the Tobacco Control Regulation in 2013. This regulation provides a detailed requirement around health warnings on packaging, and smoking can cause lung cancer, yet our people continue to buy it. Also on testing and reporting and smoke-free signatures. In 2015, Mr. Speaker, regulation around provisions for license was introduced. The 2015 regulation addresses to important areas. Introduced mandatory licensing for manufacturing, import, export, distribution, and retail tobacco products. Established licensing conditions, inspection mandates, and penalties. Currently, the excise tax as per of the 20 cigarettes stands at $10,939, with the tax total, including goods tax, reaching $14.16 per packet. This accounts for approximately 43% of the retail price, well below the WHO recommended levels of the 75% tax share in the retail sale price. The aim is to increase tax on cigarettes to at least 75% of the retail price, with at least 70% share of excise tax. In 2014, Mr. Speaker, there was a simulation of excise tax increasing, aiming on reducing smoking rates, and this has been conducted with technical support from WHO and will further work in 2025 and 2026. Mr. Speaker, this one every time Italian executive me increasing tax so that we can reduce the affordability of smoking. Mr. Speaker, let me inform this House and our good people of Solomon Islands on the smoke-free environment. Legislation in place to cigarette public places that are completely smoke-free environment. Implementation areas that have been achieved as smoke-free are, like announce him, you go walk about the corridor or NRIH, we write him, no smoking, we will write him. Yet there are some caregivers continue to smoke within the vicinity of our hospitals. Healthcare facilities must not be a place for you to enjoy your smoke. Education facilities, and other than the universities as well. Let me also inform our good people of Solomon Islands, fathers especially, stop sending your kids to store for asking water for pen smoke for you. Stop that one. I have been observing that there are fathers who always ask their children to go and buy them cigarettes. I must forbid those behavior as your Minister of Health. Stop that behavior, because you are passing a character to the next generation to smoke. Indoor workplaces as well, Mr. Speaker, the law prohibits smoking generally, but permits owners occupiers to create designated smoking areas. I must ask all the ministries across within our government to stop smoking within the ministries. Talemot go smoke lokona blos fence, putting over the signage now for say smoking zone, and leaving place for reception area or even before you enter door or office for no allow for smoke. Public transport as well, except for the commercial watercraft on which those smoking areas are designated. Public smokers, public transport, I have been driving in my 2 years from my house to the ministry. Me arrive 7 o'clock finish, Mr. Speaker, the ministry blow me. And me have a look him when we come, drivers just puff the cigarettes, the public buses. Conductors also smoke, hanging their smokes outside the window, the public transport. I, as the Minister of Health, let me take this opportunity to say that you are breaking the law, and it's prohibited for you to smoke in the public areas. Speaker, there have been ongoing awareness activities has been done in conjunction with the NCD awareness activities which cover smoking over the number of years, but to give you some highlights. And before these two highlights, Mr. Speaker, We talk too much, Mr. Speaker, through the opposition leader, because I have been suffering from the disease related to tobacco and also implicating budget, me too. So, colleagues, let me take this time to inform that smoking has causes two things in our body. One is that it increases the insulin that you need that is secreted from the pancreas. Believe me. Remember, those organs are unreplaceable. They are very unreplaceable. So you look after pancreas by not smoking. They secrete insulin when you have high sugar, and they secrete glucagon when you have low sugar. So those are regulatory mechanisms that we cannot replace if you continue for smoke. And literature shows 30 to 40% of those that are smoking will have diabetes. Data finisher. And please, I must talk about this because the pancreas. In medical school, I have the opportunity to be with surgeries that involves in trauma of pancreas. And we will operate since before New Year until to the next day. It's very difficult operation to attend to the pancreas. So that pancreas helps you to regulate your blood sugar level. And to those people are smoking out there in the public and listening to me, if you cross me, no, I'm just telling you what is good for you. That if you already have diabetes and you got a sickness sugar, please stop smoke, because it will further increase the resistance of insulin that you need to control your diabetes. So, Mr. Speaker, these are things of my public awareness to the people of this country, that let's start taking right choices in terms of smoking. So, Mr. Speaker, there are 2 weeks of no tobacco smoking was done in Honiara in 2024 and 2025. Tobacco Control Act 2012 enforcement training was conducted in 2021 for the police officers. I, as the Minister of Health, have endorsed and had been gazetted 107 authorized officers to enforce the Tobacco Control Act 2025 on the 7th of November 2025 to enforce the Tobacco Control Act 2010, and they will be trained using the Ministry of Health and Medical Services training and operational manual for tobacco control enforcement. The training part of the manual includes guidance on the appointment of enforcement officers, statutory interpretation to understand the provisions of the law, record keeping, evidence collection and management, interviewing and text statements. The second part of the manual provides some examples of protocols and processes of enforcement action. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, legislation exists governing standards of tobacco advertising, promotion and sponsorship in the following. The implementation has been seen high compliance with records to the following. We follow a ban of direct advertisement of smoking and smoking products on TV. Make sure no any tobacco by allow for your advertising on TV and radio, local magazine and newspapers, outdoor advertising, even for you say smoking on sale. We want to ban that, Mr. Speaker. Point of sale advertising, as I said earlier, ban indirect advertising, free distribution, and also promotional discount. Free billboards were installed at the sport facility for free smoking public places since 2023, Mr. Speaker. Smoke-free billboards were installed in health facilities. Smoke-free billboards were installed in schools in Honiara. We know that we have to do more for this. 1 week of NCD screening and tobacco mass campaign in social media on the World No Tobacco Day in 2024 and 25. Packaging and labeling enforcement. The implementation of packaging regulation includes enforcing the required health warning sizes, rotation of 10 approved warnings, and compliance monitoring for manufacturers and importers. Graphic warnings labels are required to cover 70% of tobacco packaging. So if you migarem that fella package, 70% blow that fella package, and must tell them about him now warning blow tobacco, and 30% on the bike, and are required to be rotated. While plain packaging is not yet adopted, Mr. Speaker, current implementation aligns with our Frame Convention Tobacco Control Article 11. Legislation for tobacco sales and licensings are in place that covers the following areas. Sales of single-stick cigarettes or loose tobacco is banned. No allow for Salem roll too, Mr. Speaker. But I know there are people out there still keep selling a roll. Mr. No allow law act here. Sales to minors, no allow for him Salem law younger than 18 years old. So 17, 16, I have seen there are people that are smoking. And that's why I said, let's do with the affordability. And if I'm come, Mr. Speaker, through you, plus everyone, me support him now, all the things, tax for me increasing, the tobacco. A license is required, Mr. Speaker, for manufacturers, importers, distributors, wholesalers, retailers of tobacco products. The Ministry of Health and Medical Service on NCD program is in taking the lead to implement the Tobacco Control Act and regulation. There is a tobacco control coordinator position created in the Ministry of Health and Medical Services is to coordinate the tobacco control program. 2 workshops and meetings within Honiara City Police Office to enforce Tobacco Control Act in the Central Market in 2024. Solomon Islands Global Youth Tobacco Survey was done in 2023 for 40 schools with the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development. The results, Mr. Speaker, are ready for release once all clearance are done. 4 weeks of awareness and enforcement conducted in Honiara. The retail shops in Honiara in 2025 for payment of tobacco license. More than 90 wholesalers and retailers in Honiara has paid their license in 2025. 2 fala sports check mi fala duim in 2024 to 3 tobacco companies in Honiara for compliance with the Tobacco Control Act and regulations. Suppose you hear Mr. Speaker, through opposition, we kokolosim safala. It's due to the spot check and also to some of the water companies. Youth protection measures, Mr. Speaker, let me highlight this and let me ask my good youths across this country. The Act prohibits sales of tobacco to minors or what are youths under 18 years, bans sales of single sticks and prohibits vending machines. Licensing and inspection mechanisms support and enforcement of these provisions across the country. There have been 3 national surveys conducted among the youth, highlight the prevalence and the practices of smoking in our young population. The Global Tobacco Youth Survey in 2008 and the Global-Based Student Health Survey in 2011. The survey Speaker in 2011 found that 28.1% of students aged 18 to 15 years old reported as current tobacco users, 32.2% for boys and 24.4% for girls. Among current tobacco users, 24% smoke cigarette, that is 28.3% of boys and 18.4% for girls. Current cigarette smokers, Mr. Speaker, reported that they first tried a cigarette before the age of 14 years. The latest and the Global Tobacco Youth Survey has been conducted in 2023, and the Ministry of Health and Medical Services will soon release the survey findings after all clearance are done. Mr. Speaker, this one is a problem by me, and I want to ask, because the choice, even if we have the laws are with us, but the choice is to our people. Before me sit down, Mr. Speaker, me bora talem big mighty response na this time, because I want to inform the people and the youths of this country that choice to live a healthy life, it's not within the Ministry of Health, it is within our people or our youth. Please, as your Minister of Health, assist the Ministry of Health by lengthening our budget of not smoking too much or just prevent smoking. Smoking is not only damaging your health, it's also affecting your economic livelihood. Mr. Speaker, I have talked too much on this one, but I thank my good MP, Honourable MP for Aki Langalanga and the opposition leader for raising this important question. Time we prepare for come this morning, this one know me, said this one me must talk lohem. And to those smokers that you cross from me, I forgive you. But to the people who listen and obey my health advice, here in terms of affecting your pancreas, leading to the NCDs of diabetes, I respect you. And I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the opposition leader for this important question that is put forward for the Ministry of Health and Medical Services. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Any comments on the Honourable MP for East Churchill?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for our very comprehensive response by the Minister, outlining a program that Yemen is actually losing battle. You know, I understand, Mr. Speaker, that the law may restrict smoking in certain places like public places, buses, and also in this Act of coming force 2010. Well, I don't know what time it come into force. How are we enforcing that law, Mr. Speaker, law smoking law, what the places that are actually restricted by law? How are we getting on with that, and what are the issues?
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Speaker. Apology, I can't hear properly the question. Thank you. Can I ask the first choice to repeat?
Sorry, very sorry, ma'am. The law, what I was saying was that thank you very much, Minister, for this very comprehensive response. I'm outlining a program that we actually losing battle limit. Problem, big problem with this matter. So my question is, question number is that the law, I understand, I'm restricting lots of places that even say smoke, people don't say smoke public places, I think bus, we see these things happen in Numa. People continue for smoke instead of bus, and especially bus drivers and also smoke on Numa. And also, so how are you enforcing this one? How do we enforce this? And what are the problems in regard to enforcing smoking a lot of places that are restricted, Mr. Speaker?
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the MP for East Choice for the questions. Very important. Mr. Speaker, as in my comprehensive response, me just appointing 107 enforcement officers for carrying out this. Very difficult to cover. I am tempted to just appoint all the police officers across the country as per our Tobacco Act 2010 for actually doing enforcement. I will try with 107, and once we see, as you rightly said, we are losing the battle because, Speaker, sometimes man for no smoke, even my own relative, by saying, no, by me, run die no more. Yeah, I'm not answer people. In some of my relatives would say, I have the right to smoke. Yeah, the right of choices and the right for them to make choices. So those are some of the things people, it's not only me, I think there are families that are facing those kind of responses. As you said, we are losing the battle. Let me address by start with 107 and then slowly see how we can implement the Act of 2010 on Tobacco Control Act. But I thank you, as I said, you mean the first enforcers, like for Talem, before I sit down, Mr. Speaker, is the parent. Parent now for become, they should be the first enforcers in our communities. and then come with the community leaders, because I'm sure they have more eyes than the Minister of Health that carries the Tobacco Control Act. So let me remind the community leaders across there, in one of my speeches, Utami Duim Longubia, I said, you are not helping the future of this country. When students finish school, a new man garem stalls a cigarette on sale, tobacco on sale. You're not helping this country. So please, those people that continue to induce our youths and influencing our youths to smoke, you should be the first enforcers of this Tobacco Control Act. So starting with the parents, community leaders, of course the church leaders too, should start encouraging our youths through the different youth programs. Let's talk about the Tobacco Control Act 2010. And with that, I'm sure I'm always, if my executives are listening to me, Speaker, I think this time to me said that me, as I took up the ministerial portfolio, PS Blominos have come because I said to myself, we must have a lower parliamentary standing order for allowing PS to come sit down here, and also the constitution. If we must have a response to any question, that means we no go to office. So, Mr. Speaker, today my good friend emphasized that PS should be here behind me, but I'm the minister that no, me no like that. But my executive, if they are listening there, they know that I always talk about tobacco, increasing tax. So the only trick behind it is whether we reduce the affordability by increasing tax and then increasing the revenue for this country. And if we make it very expensive, it's good for our health and for our economy. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank his choice of my good friend for your question.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Hemi good that no what PS no come. He really knows his stuff. And that's the way it should be. Ministers should be right on top of everything and are able to respond. The reality is, of course, not all ministers are on top of everything. So fallback position law house is always that okay, officials will therefore write him note or we spakam lo eblo minister make him. At the very least, the house gets comprehensive or fulsome responses. So, but with the Minister of Health, or you don't need in PS, you go ahead no more because you're on top of your work. This one good. Of course, this was an issue raised by Member Blois Choice on a number of occasions because he has tried it. So then at some point there is some kind of the curve sort of plateaus and falls. Yeah, man. This is I think in a couple of years prior, he attempted it. So that's a phenomenon you may need for understanding me. Because Savsau have unfiltered smoke too, so I'm not sure how that is good for health. And then low revenue. So we haven't quite struck the balance yet along this matter. But I'm just wondering, do we track data? Do we keep data? It sounds like there are more and more people smoking than when the 2010 law was passed. So it is a big problem. If 950 or so people are dying each year, it's a huge problem. The number of deaths low COVID, you may respond, you may react narrow, but 950 is a significant number, but our response is still very lethargic. So I think we need to start tracking the data to make the case side low economic contribution blogger where it may weakened or undermined, but also then, of course, the budgetary side, the cost of providing healthcare to people who are coming under tobacco illnesses and so forth, so that this will come out and people blame me, say, hey, this one choice blew me, or by you me die everyone, or something, yeah. I mean, people blame me take life follow every something, yeah, no more, yeah. But if I die say level, right? Problem now is I die, I drag him everyone the family, drag him economy with him out, and it's unfair on families and the rest of government healthcare budget and the rest of the economy. So you may not take light follow that can excuse you. We also need to disarm them of light-hearted excuses. Also, I'm just wondering, have there been some arrests? Law breaches, Law Tobacco Control Act and regulations. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Speaker. I thank the Honourable Leader for position for the question. There are two questions that I think, if I can listen to you correctly, one is the data. If we have, I don't have the concrete data at the moment, but your observation seems to be correct. On more people smokes after 2010, after the Act. That's also what I have been observing. Secondly, if there has been any arrest on those breaching Tobacco Act, Control Act 2010, I don't have the data or records of saying that yes, we do arrest people because they are breaching this Tobacco Control Act. I am sure that it is because we just recently appointed 107 enforced officers as per the Act. They are the one who authorized to make arrests. So it's a vacuum from 2010 to now, Mr. Speaker, through my good friend. So let's see if there is any arrest after the appointment of 107 authorized officers. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable MP for East Churchill.
Mr. Speaker, supposing one of them addressing this whole problem, it has to start with this whole House, Mr. Speaker. The first thing you should do now is to close him down. I think 2 or 3 others, tobacco company, but we're selling tobacco products. There's a serious conflict of policy, Mr. Speaker. On one hand, he may come up with this act here for stopping smoking or for addressing smoking, and you may allow other tobacco companies to establish. Actually, it is direct involvement by some politicians, Mr. Speaker. You may allow the establishment of other cigarette companies. Products longer than now, I'm not just selling more about lower cities, Mr. Speaker. So if we're serious about this, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, you need to do that. And probably my other question, Mr. Speaker, is that asking ministry officials for Lekona tax, and the Somaliland Tobacco Company are willing to work with the government for come up with him a Lekona tax for the government experience throughout the world. And Somaliland Tobacco, Mr. Speaker, I'm acknowledging them selling Rabi Santini, and so they comply with compliance record. Very, very good, Mr. Speaker, and they're willing to help the government for come up with him establishing a Lekona taxation regime. I don't know where we are, that one. Is it progressing? And are we willing to seriously look at the number of cigarette selling companies exist in this country? Because we are just making joke, Mr. Speaker. You may cry, well, you may encouraging what the company for selling all the products. So we will go nowhere, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable MP for East Churchill. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Speaker, and I thank the MP for East Churchill. I'm taking note of your recommendation and comments. I will talk with my team within the ministry, taking heed of your recommendations, and I thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable MP for West Tarare.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Follow-up normal question law is Churchill. Then good for you may start for serious small or kata policy or kata legal framework lo yumi. O sem imi tutim narahan and then narahan tutim opposite too. So I think seriousness, and it's good that you know them, Minister. And time imi to talk about okat pikinini kampepeya. Okat canteen indigenous someone islanders here by no side to come and sell no more. Because cigarette now, one for a source of income block at now. And Minister, I like the idea that okat police you lulu clocket. The streets full basket out in no more same. But nara worry blomina if okat manimi appointed mo okata smogotu. Pa okata wakakutuya. Hem osem pitolna tu. So, okay, we are crowded with him, and I'm good for rethink him so that you may say one thing and you may do him exactly what you may say rather than you may do him opposite. So, okay, beginning na me worry because okay na kamlo okay sobse and pepe for okay uncle mo, daddy, mommy, are you bringing in the amendments? Because the taxing to him, me looking him one way forward. I think seriousness about the amendment, not this current act. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, just to supplement the response from the Minister of Health in response to the important point raised by the MP for East Church, and I do acknowledge him for the efforts that he has undertaken in terms of the space, in terms of the Lekona tax initiative. We'll take note of that. It's one that will require Ministry of Health and Finance to really come up on this. It will be an important work that requires a good policy balance and mix, given the nature of the issue. But also, how do we regulate human behavior? Health issues, rights issues are also involved. But I think the health, we cannot compromise the health of our population, our youthful population, I think is important. So thank you for raising that and for reminding us in terms of the initiative on the Lekona tax. We'll task the Ministry of Health and Medical Services and the Ministry of Finance to bring a paper to Cabinet on this important matter. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister of Finance and Treasury. I think you're going to give okay, then I'll refer to you. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and of course, just to also compliment some of the response that the Minister of Health and of course the Prime Minister is. I think one of the reaction for me, especially when moving across the ministry to look at this issue of tobacco. In fact, like the ministers mentioned earlier, that this is a threat to our population, especially contributing to NCD as well. So, yeah, I think we are working on a recommendation to bring to Cabinet, and one of it especially to look at how to increase the excess duty on tobacco and of course alcohol as well. So we working to bring it, especially, but this is also cutting across ministries, especially enforcing the act. No problem that we may face him, and of course, if we continue to look at increasing the exercise duty on tobacco, but then tobacco, like member for East Church has mentioned earlier, that they also willing to work with the government, especially to enforce. So government is looking at it, so we hope to bring papers soon to make some serious decision on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable MP for East Are.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think as a member for East Choiseul, and I think all of us around who have spoken have really highlighted, I think the main issue is enforcement. I think we really need to focus on the enforcement part, and I think for the Minister for that initiative in appointing all these special agents for enforcing this fella law. I think that's really at the crux of any law that we pass, but particularly one that concerns health, as this one does. And of course, the rights are there, and right for spoken law, each one, but when you're in public, I think that right needs to be a little bit limited, and that sort of thing, for the sake of health. And I think people blame me understanding. Just like to ask him, I think perhaps suggest also the idea that, of course, perhaps there's offences in selling to minors, as the Minister has already mentioned. Could it be also extended to owners of buses, or it's already there? Not necessarily just the driver or the conductor, but the owner of the license, of the business for the bus. If it's not there, to consider those kinds of measures to go beyond just the man with a cigarette in the hand, but who drive for him, so that they can also help to enforce that. Any enforcement comes into the businesses where offenders are actually working for, especially when they deal with public, particularly, especially when they deal with public. I think that kind of amendment or focus is helpful too, in terms of the public aspect of it. We know, all of us here, we've traveled overseas now. Now smoking is becoming antisocial. Man, where you smoke, and most people look strongly in one. You go down the street, people who start smoke there, but man can pass me or some they even designate a place for you go to smoke now, a designated place, especially in the public. Of course, in your own home, that's your own right. But when you come to the public, I think there's already that there. So I think we should perhaps look at the enforcement area, including those kind of enforcement penalties. Maybe fine on the spot, things like that. I mean, have to look at those sort of things. My question, Mr. Speaker, sir, is with the special fund. I think there's a special fund under this act as well. How much is in that fund, and what is it being used for? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable MP for East Tarare. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Speaker, and I thank Member for Parliament for East Tarare for the questions. There are two questions raised. One is example of driver and the conductor and the owner of the bus. With that Tobacco Control Act 2010, in business we have policies. So the owner of the bus would write up a policy to his business. If they run a public transport, they have the right in terms of their business policy to say no smoking to this bus. So I encourage all the business owners to come up with policy that supports the Tobacco Control Act 2010. Let's be responsible, and even it's easy just to stick up low bus, no smoking in this bus. So it becomes a policy that really helps the Ministry of Health and also compliance to the Tobacco Control Act 2010. For the second one on the lifestyle fund, which comes from the business license of our tobacco company, hem garem to regulation below hem, where what should be used, which my executive now over the garem board there. So the usage of that fund, it's basically based on the regulation, and the common one is for tobacco advertisement, where for making public health awareness. And if you hear my response on saying the billboards and all these advertisement, I am funded through that lifestyle fund. There are times, Mr. Speaker, that, for example, say time you may garang masot flow low cas, and if medicine blogata man garang diabetes and high blood, we also use those funds, but then we refund them through the internal process. I think I have answered the question, Mr. Speaker, and I thank you, Iskarare MP, for your question. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Leader, to provide the acknowledgement of the response.
Thank you, sir. Any important matter, important fight that you may not give up, any good law enforcement. Perhaps appointing full public service here, full police, full teacher, full workforce block government now into authorized officers, and then get IPAM into the mainstream training of enforcement. If we take that kind of approach, maybe if some officers smoke, then by what's in, we cannot authorize officers stop them not one smoke, time me smoke, so it'll pass no conviction. This point made by East Choice important too. You start here parliament. So what man you was smoke parliament here, he was stopped too, or same. Or around them precincts, parliamentary precincts, and no smoking straight now. You may some seriousness here parliament, then you may insist other tabu. This one also no makem we to talk general no. So then you may slowly expand them. Then, misal South Balkana, I mean, no mas something na, but I'm repent to you. So, sir, there are a number of, I think, some things we can do immediately where no cost them selling. And then there is the long term. But the crux of the matter is enforcement. You mean enforcement, then outside you be serious about it, then you mean start for improve. You know, New Zealand a few years ago, they brought in a legislation for, say, generation whereby I'm born from a certain year onwards. By that generation, I'm smoke free. So, a number of legislative tools now get a put them in a lawyer to try and achieve that. I think government new one come out more, but maybe it'd be worthwhile looking at what they were trying to do, whether I'm practical or normal, and whether it would work here. Those are some initiatives perhaps might aid and abet our efforts to bring this matter under some control. But with those comments, sir, I do thank the Honourable Minister for his lamentations. So we cry about this fella situation, and everyone must cry together. Look at a very serious situation you may cousin, but cry no more, then no anything change, and no good. You may cry, then you must do something about it. You may win him this fella fight. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, honourable members. 2 questions are on the today's order paper. Unfortunately, the honourable MP for West New Georgia is not here to answer questions. We'll move straight on to the last question, which is the MP for South New Georgia, Rendovan Tetepari, to the Minister for
question number 8.
Minister of Fisheries. The Minister of Fisheries is also absent here, unfortunately. But the order paper has the Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources, so we cannot pass that on to that. So on that note, I think we must now dispose of all the questions this morning. Unfortunately, it has taken us that long, but I think it's very exhaustive, but very comprehensive. And some of the questions raised were really very useful for purpose of this meeting. And therefore, our next item of business will be the first and the second reading of the 2026 appropriation, 2025 appropriation 2026. But on that note, with your indulgence, let me suspend the proceedings of Parliament, and we'll resume at 2 o'clock for our next item of business.